In today's video, you're going to learn how to make unique geometry using X particles and the XP Skinner. Let's get to it. Hey friends, it's Nick here again from Greyscalegorilla.com, bringing you the tools, training, and tutorials to help make you a better motion designer. Now today's X Particles tutorial is from David Brodeur, and he's going to show you some really fun techniques on how to model. But before we get there, if you don't already own X Particles, consider buying it through Greyscalegorilla.com, where we give you over 30 scene files for free. These are basically presets to get you up and running with X Particles right away. Today's tutorial is made by David Brodeur, and in this tutorial he's going to show you how to make some really unique geometry using the XP Skinner tool inside of X Particles. So without delay, let's join David Brodeur for his tutorial right now.
Hey guys, my name's Dave for Greyscalegorilla. For those of you who don't know me, which is probably most, I'm going to be doing some tutorials now on Greyscalegorilla.com, Cinema 4D based, hopefully branching into some Octane if you guys show interest. But for today, I wanted to show you guys how to make some really cool pieces of geometry using X Particles. And not using X Particles for the typical thing that we normally think about, using X Particles to create custom geometry that I think if you were to try to hand model this stuff, it would take a whole lot longer. So today we're going to jump into the Skinner of the X Particles, and I'm going to show you just something I kind of discovered and figured out, and I kind of want to just share it with you guys to make some really cool custom geometry. So let's just jump right in here. I'll show you in my picture viewer some of these things that I made using the Skinner object. So let's just scale this out, and you can see all this stuff was rendered using Octane. We're not going to get into the rendering and texturing. If you guys show interest and you want to learn more about Octane, definitely throw it out there in the comments section because I'd love to do it. So today we're just going to kind of go over how to make these type of geometry using X Particles. Alright, so let's just jump into it. I want to show you how X Particles works, and I think the typical thought, right? The typical thought is you come in here, you make an emitter, hit play, right, whatever, and then you're like, hey, I want to throw a mesh on that. So you go into X Particles, and we throw in a Skinner object. And obviously nothing's going to happen right now. We have to add the X Particle emitter into the object source in the Skinner. Right, and now when we hit play, that's exactly what we get. And I think this has been a mindset I've been locked into. When I use X Particles, I'm like, it's got to be a particle system. It's like, no, it doesn't. So let's delete this emitter and make a sphere. You know, we're going to start with the hard stuff here. So now that we got our sphere, let's turn off the invisibility in the picture viewer and the render, and select our X Particle Skinner now, and drag and drop the sphere into the source objects inside the X Particle Skinner. Instantly, we've got geometry, right? Now, if we go inside our X Particle Skinner, I want you guys to kind of play around. There's so many different shapes you can make, but follow along with me. But on your own, you know, change the surface. You know, see what kind of different looks you have. Go in here, start playing and pulling these things, and that's how I came up with the things we're gonna make today. Like, I didn't set out trying to like make this. I just wanted to see what it could do, and I happily came across these kind of looks. So let's now go into our Skinner, and in the surface level, let's start dialing this down. Yeah, something like that. Maybe 55. That sounds cool. And see, what you're going to see is that this is really like jagged, and that's because the polygon size is too big. And we'll see if we turn on our shading and lines here, Y, and it's, you know, again, the polygon size is too big. It's not going to be able to form in these tight, nice little like details. So let's turn that shading and lines off. And you'll see how quickly this is going to change. If we did polygon size to something like 5, already it's getting a lot closer to the one render I had. Let's maybe increase our surface level. And another thing that I came across was this smoothing here. If we unfold smoothing and check on geometry, this is awesome, right? Like, how simple was that just to make this really cool piece of geo? And that's how I made, you know, this one render right here. Whoa, disappeared. Let's fit that to screen. Did some weird zoom. So that's how I made this. You know, how simple, how quick. I mean, how many seconds is that? It's got to be like record time for making this kind of piece of geometry. What I want to show you, though, I want to talk about why X-Particle Skinner is making something like this. It's basing it off of the segments and the points in our sphere object, right? So if we were to go into our sphere and change the type from something like standard to icosahedron, you know, we're going to get a totally different look. And you can see it's making these dots based on the points of our icosahedron if I were to turn on the segments here, right? So that's how it's making these points. Let's turn the sphere back off and let's go into our Skinner and let's increase this surface level. Maybe decrease it a little bit, something like that. And now we got this other really cool, funky piece of geometry. Like, again, if someone told me to model this, I think it would take me way too long. And so basically we're using the Skinner object sort of like, you know, the meta ball, except it's so much, you know, there's so much more control. Like, I don't think you could ever get these looks using the meta ball. It's like too blobby, you know, and it takes up too much space. You can't get this fine detail. As far as I know, you can't. Awesome. So, yeah, the sphere, let's delete it. Let's try something else. Let's go in here and grab a helix spline. And I also found, and I'm not going to get into this right now, you guys can kind of play with this on your own, come up with like some cool things. I also found that you can use the Skinner on splines and you know, just by changing the interpolation, whatever. I said I wasn't going to get into it, and now I'm starting to get into it. So check it out. Do stuff with splines as well, not just geometry. So for this, I am going to let's try to make a sweeteners. What I'm going to try to do is recreate this, and the problem I'm going to have is that I kind of just played around and made this stuff, so I don't really remember. Made these frames a little bit ago, so if I mess up, I promise we'll come up with something cool, but we'll try to figure it out anyway if I can't get to it. So let's go and do a circle. So now we've got our sweep, a helix, and a circle. And let's place these all into the... Oh, do I have it backwards? Yeah. Let's place these into the sweep NURBS. I'm going to change this circle from a radius of 200 to maybe 50. Probably too much. Let's try 40. That works. Okay. So now what we want to do, really simply, drag and drop the sweep NURBS into our X-Particle Skinner, and we can hide the geometry of this sweep NURBS. So we can see right now, you know, it's just filling this out. I guess this is kind of a cool look. It's kind of like welding these two pieces together. It's cool. It's not what I want, though. And so how I did that was turn down, and there's a lot more geometry here, so you might, you know, be chugging along a little bit more. Let's drop this down. And then also, let's jump into some of these segments that are in our circle. Let's change this to uniform because I do want the spacing of the grid it makes to be uniform. And cool, already we're getting, you know, you can see they're starting to become like these weird ripples and starting to kind of split apart in here a little bit. Let's go into our helix and turn this to uniform as well, and turn this down to like 2. Maybe turn it down to 1. Maybe turn our circle down to 1. Oh, okay. Okay, this is not obviously what we want, but, you know, this could make for a pretty cool render. And that's what I'm saying. Just like, everyone should just come in here and play with this. There's so many unique shapes you can use and create. So let's jump back into it here. Let's go back to 2 on our circle. All right. And let's go into our Skinner now and change the surface level to like 20. Sweet. Let's drop our polygon size down to like 3. Really get this stuff smooth in here and see kind of what that look is. I mean, this is awesome. This is pretty rad. It's not what I made before, but I don't know. This is pretty awesome, I think. I love all these like little holes and details. Like, can you imagine trying to model this? I can't. I'd be kind of. First of all, I'd be bored going in here and trying to model this whole thing. All right. Anyway, this is not what I made. How did I make this? I had a feeling this was going to happen. Oh, you know what? I don't think I made this using a sweep NURBS at all. Let's delete that. I'm keeping the helix, though. And I'm going to make a cylinder. And I'm going to scale this a little bit. And we definitely are going to need some height segments in this. Let's try 10. And I am going to go into the Deformers tab and do a spline wrap. Okay, I'm going to put that spline wrap on the cylinder and put the helix into the spline wrap. Obviously, we have to change the axis. I think Y is it, and it is. Cool. And let's just grab our Skinner and drag and drop the cylinder in it. Awesome, and that worked too. All right, we're off to a great new start. And already, I'm like, I don't know, X-Particle is just so cool. I love this. I love every single look that it's given me. Let's add more segments in here. Let's add 50. All right, getting better, getting better. We're getting this really cool ring thing going on here. Let's go and drop the rotation segments down to 15. All right, that's cool too. Now let's increase the height segments again. Let's do 80. Really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to emulate this, and what I'm seeing is I want to have these really cool tight little gaps in here, and so I'm looking at the spacing that's happening between in between these segments, and I'm trying to get that to happen. Down here, and let's change this back to I tried to zoom in and change that number because I had it selected. Put it to 100 now, and already the back of this, the inside where the segments are getting tighter, starting to look a little bit of something like I want. Maybe if we go into our Skinner, increase the surface level to 40. Let's wait for this to update. I got the polygon size down pretty low, which might not be the best. Awesome. Look at this backside of the geometry in here. That is looking awesome. And then we got this weird looking rib cage. Let's maybe increase the surface level again. Maybe let's try 60. I want to start getting these things to kind of gap and touch together. And it looks like that's not going to do it. Let's go 50 on this. I think what we're going to need is more height segments in the cylinder. I could be wrong. Let's try it. Height segments, let's go 120. Come on. Nope, not yet. Let's try 140. Come on, I want these. There we go. All right, we did it. So it was the height segments. And now let's change the height of, I don't want these connecting anymore. So let's change the height of the helix to be, I don't know, let's do 300. We're probably gonna have to refresh this spline wrap. So let's X that and kind of refresh it. And I think then it will update correctly. There we go. Cool. And you can tell it's definitely running a little slower. I bet our polygon count's pretty high right now. But how cool of a look is this? In no time at all, we created some really cool pieces of geometry.
Thanks again for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you're looking at getting X-Particles soon, check out Greyscalegorilla. We have a great price as always. And we also give you those 30 free scene files to get you started with X-Particles. All right, with that, we'll hope to see you in another video really soon. We have plenty more X-Particles tutorials all around YouTube and over at our website. We're all of us here at Greyscalegorilla. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye, everybody. What it's like having a Roni. What it's like having a Roni. Yo, VIP in full effect.